Okay, come on. Go outside. Let's do that. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Andy.
How's it going? Oh, can you hear me okay, Nick? Nick, are you hearing me? Nick, are you hearing me? Nick, can you hear me?
Hey, dude. Sorry, having a computer issue.
Yeah, not a problem. I was concerned I was having a computer issue.
Let's see. Let's see. And I'm sharing my screen, but I'm not sure. Oh, I bet I gotta make it active. Let's see if that does it. Yeah, I'm having issues on my end. All right. Let's not do that. I have a second computer that I'm running the audio from, but something has just crashed on it.
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna skip my little timed countdown and just do PowerPoint Live housekeeping slides. So it's this slide right here that's I think it's actually the system. Like I got my audio routing wrong. All right, so go there. Okay.
All right. Hey, Emily.
And Andy, I'll be right back. I gotta go close the door somewhere.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay, Andy?
Yep, gotcha.
Great. How's it going?
So far, so good.
Good.
Yeah. How about you? This is early for you.
Oh, this is my third call.
Of course.
Yeah, it's been a real week. But it's all right. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Well, once again, we appreciate you doing this for sure.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm mostly copying Jared on this, which I know goes against everything that Nick told me yesterday, but there we go. Here we are.
Yeah.
He can grade me on the Jared scale. That's all right.
I've done my Jared impression once or twice as well, so I get it.
How'd it go for you? Tell me everything.
It went well. I mean, I think he's got a good flow. He's got a good, he hits his points well. I think his talk track is nice and succinct. So I think it's a good one.
Okay. Okay, good. Is Mark joining on this call?
Mark is not.
Okay.
We are Markless.
Markless. Where is he?
I think he's in St. Louis. He's at a customer. And he has like 3 or 4 customer trips lined up over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and I think St. Louis was this week.
Got it. I loved Justine's fangirl comment about you yesterday. It kind of made my day, actually.
Well, it made my day too.
Oh, good.
You just kind of go in this job sometimes. You're not really sure exactly if you're hitting the mark. So that hit me at the right time. So I appreciate it.
Oh, good. Well, I've known her for a very long time, and she does not say those things lightly. So,
okay, good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I should have asked this yesterday. Do you want me to take controls in my section?
That's how we usually do it.
Okay.
Nick just popped back on. So that again, Nick.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I think it's always a little easier than yelling out next slide.
Oh my God, it's so obnoxious. Well, Nick, two things. I am essentially doing Jared's pitch today, so you can grade me afterwards, and I'll take all the harsh grades, which I know goes against everything you told me yesterday. But just to show you that I was listening, I did have a call with someone that was just asking for some career advice, and he was like, what's your advice for navigating Microsoft? And I kind of used your advice. So there we go. I didn't listen to it here, but I listened to it there.
No, I don't remember now what I gave.
Oh, you basically were like, find your own voice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. I'll do what Jared's doing. Thanks. I just said too much yesterday to think about much more than that. So.
Well, it is, we're an odd org because there's so much duplicate function, which you've probably picked up, like makes me a little anxious, or I just like, I'm recreating work and stuff. But we're also so big and a matrix organization, it's, it's kind of unavoidable too. So, in some ways you've just I was talking to Matt Hickey and he's like, yeah, that's why I'm doing this dashboard stuff. I just kind of carved out an area and said, I'm going to be the subject matter expert here. And, there's other things going on around that complement it and maybe even are the same thing, but I'm not going to wait for someone authoritative to say, here's how we're going to do that. Like, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. Words of wisdom. And my camera keeps, for some reason, falling back on my computer today. So if I somehow start slipping out, just yell at me.
It wasn't something we said.
Well, who knows?
Well, let's see. How soon do you want to admit people, Andy? And
I say let's go ahead and start admitting and then maybe start at 2 after.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
I think you may have to do that as the organizer, I think.
I will start doing it. Here we go.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our session today. We're going to kick off in about 2 minutes. And this is our Unleash Your Copilot Superpower session for the healthcare industry. We'll come back on in a second, introduce the Microsoft folks that are on. Thanks so much for coming today. All right, welcome again. We're going to start here in about 20 seconds. Thanks everyone for joining us today. All right, I think we're ready to begin. Everyone, thanks for joining us another month. If you're a returning participant in these webinars, or if it's your first time, thanks for joining us for the first session. My name's Nick Stillings. I'm a modern work usage architect for Microsoft, focused on Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Copilot. So it's a really cool gig. I get to help people take advantage of the investment they've made in Microsoft technologies. And also with us today is Andy Moore. Andy is my peer on my team, similar focus, also healthcare focused as well. And then Emily Jensen. Emily is a director in the Microsoft Modern Work Customer Success Organization. And together we've got a fairly full agenda. We're going to start off with an overview of Microsoft Copilot Chat. We're getting a lot of interest in this right now for people and organizations who are interested in enabling an AI experience for their organization, but aren't yet ready to make the commitment to put a Copilot license on every single desktop and every single user. Copilot Chat gives me a way to have access to AI included with my Microsoft 365 license and all of the data protection and enterprise management tools that comes with it as a Microsoft solution. So it's a wonderful sort of alternative to Shadow IT, and Emily will take us through that. And then as part of that, I'm really excited to share some resources we have on adoption.microsoft.com. I teased a couple of these recently, but in particular, I'm going to take us through the Copilot Chat Success Kit. It's a collection of templates and resources you can use to help users get up on board quickly. It even has things like communication assets that an executive could use or a sponsor to go through. And then finally, Andy will take us through some analytics and show us what's new in terms of measuring success inside of AI within your organization. A couple of housekeeping things as we go through. If you have a question, just drop them into chat. There's a couple of us that'll help and answer and curate those. I don't think we've got any polls in this session, but we will at the end allow some time for Q&A. We can take Q&A as we go, and we'll also pause too. We've got, looks like there's not quite 30 of us. We'll have probably another 20 hop in and out, but I don't anticipate so large a group that we can't manage. And then Andy and Emily and myself all have really low self-esteem, so feel free to use the reactions and just hit that as much as you want as we go through if you see something that is compelling, just to kind of call that out. And then finally, from a housekeeping perspective, our session is going to be recorded today. So we will record it, and these recordings will be made available afterwards, and we're posting them up to YouTube. So Andy just dropped in the links from the previous ones into the chat. We'll make sure we pop those in again. And I'm going to go ahead and start the recording now. So if you're not comfortable with that, feel free to hop off. Oh, sorry, Andy, I already did. Okay, so if you're not comfortable participating in the recording, feel free to hop off, and you'll still be able to watch it afterwards. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first topic, Emily Jensen, our Senior Director of Modern Work, to give us an overview of Copilot Chat and take us through that. Emily, I'm going to go ahead and take Andy and myself off the screen, and you've got the ball. Oh,
thank you, Nick.
Sorry, Emily.
Got it.
Yes, yeah.
Got it. Yes.
We all do that.
Appreciate it. It's great to be here today. Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Nick and Andy. Let me just do a super quick intro, and then I'll get into the Copilot Chat introduction. My name is Emily Jensen. As Nick mentioned, I'm the Senior Director of Customer Success at Microsoft. I lead a team called the Modern Work Usage Architect team. So I have the pleasure and honor of working with Nick and Andy every day. And our team is focused on working with some of the largest, most complex customers globally. We help customers adopt and realize value from Microsoft's emerging capabilities. So probably unsurprising to everyone on the call today, the majority of our time is focused on AI transformation and Copilot specifically. We've worked with about 600 customers from a kind of really deep engagement so far this year. And so I'm really excited to share what I'm seeing from all of our global customers right now, where we're building momentum, which, not to bury the lead, is very much around Copilot Chat, as Nick mentioned, and also hear and learn from you as we go through it. So Let me start, instead of jumping into the details of Copilot Chat, with just a framing on how we got to this place and what we're seeing from our customers that led us to make this new product change in January. Our ambition at Microsoft is to empower every employee with Copilot and transform every business process with agents. We're making that ambition real through M365 Copilot, the UI for AI. Our customers rely on this single standardized platform to transform their business in this era of AI. As I mentioned, we've worked with hundreds of customers around the world, and the patterns and trends are becoming much clearer in this new era of AI. And we're starting to see this pattern emerge around an AI adoption curve. It's been really clear working with customers day in, day out, that the most important thing starting that AI adoption curve is access. Leaders need the ability to decide how to provide broad access to cutting edge AI, all while navigating limited budgets. The next is ROI, and this is highly linked to access. It's where organizations are using AI to redesign processes and demonstrate measurable business value. And last, but very much not least, is governance. It's building AI tools that are secure and compliant and ensuring IT can easily and effectively manage the constellation of agents that will be the new drivers of business process. Customers are looking for a unified solution that can meet the needs of employees across the organization, offer a consistent user experience, standardized governance and controls, more flexible deployment options to meet not just each organization and company where they are today, but actually each user where they are today in this AI adoption curve. And so that's the kind of background context that led us to the introduction of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. It's the only way to quickly and securely scale AI adoption to reach every employee in your organization. And since we introduced this in kind of mid-January, we've seen more and more customers really use this as the place to land AI adoption quickly across their user base and securely across their user base. So let me kind of double click into what that actually means, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can get started today on this call too. So Copilot Chat combines three incredibly valuable capabilities into one integrated product. Number one, chat. At its core, it's a free, secure AI chat powered by the latest models and grounded in the web. In addition to that, agents. So agents are a powerful way to automate business processes. They're access to the same intuitive chat experience. They come in different flavors, from free agents grounded in things like instructions, public websites, or uploaded files, to paid agents that can access your shared tenant data or third-party data. Copilot Chat offers these paid agents on a meter basis, so customers are only paying for what they're actually consuming and using. And again, last but not least is robust IT controls. Copilot Chat offers these controls, ensuring enterprise-grade security, privacy, compliance, and management. It provides the same level of security and privacy for chat as you get from M365 for your email and documents today. And we know from our work, when we talk about building momentum, from our work across all of our customers today, that this is really one of the biggest pulls. I mean, we know today that 80% of employees are choosing to bring their own AI to work. And this is the only way to have again, free and secured way for all of your employees, all of your users to access AI transformation. And it gives you access to pay-as-you-go agents that will be critical to transforming business processes as you move through that adoption curve. So if you look again at the adoption curve, where we've seen a lot of customers really kind of stuck in the, how do I build a business case for this? What is that business case? What are the right ways to get started? We've seen the introduction of Copilot Chat really unlock momentum for customers, where they are able to go wall to wall as they're still exploring how business transformation will land in their organization long term. So this is an eye chart, but let me just walk you through it quickly so that we can start unpacking the difference between the new chat experience and what everyone has been using on this call today, the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. There are four core elements: chat, agents, personal assistant, and CCS. So let's start with chat first. Copilot Chat offers the free and secure web-grounded experience that I mentioned before that includes additional value like the ability to create and interact with Copilot pages and images and have the ability to generate code, analyze data, create visualizations with Code Interpreter. And we're innovating in this space day in and day out. So there's more to come, more value that will be in this chat experience in the very, very foreseeable future. In addition to that, M365 Copilot will provide the ability to ground any prompt on shared graph data, personal data, documents, emails, and meetings, as well as any third-party data using Microsoft Graph connectors. So on to agents, our second area here. So regardless of the product, users will be able to build, manage, discover, and pin agents. They'll also be able to use agents grounded on web data at no extra cost. The difference is for Copilot Chat, the use of agents are grounded on shared tenant graph data or third-party data will be metered and charged on a consumptive basis, as I mentioned before. M365 Copilot remains the place that users will get the most value from AI transformation and from their use of M365 Copilot. All of the value related to the integration of Copilot to the M365 apps, as well as pre-built M365 agents and additional context and personalization experiences will remain exclusive to M365 Copilot users. And lastly, on CCS, we are committed to provide secure and trusted chat experience for both Copilot Chat and M365 Copilot. And again, this is where a huge amount of the pull has been from our customers over the past 2 months. So our Copilot Chat experience will offer enterprise data protection as well as the IT admin controls that you expect from Microsoft. In addition to that, M365 Copilot customers will have access to advanced management and measuring tools like SharePoint Advanced Management and Copilot Analytics and Viva Insights, which the last piece of that in particular has been a really important component on measuring business value and understanding ROI. So it's a pretty important value opportunity for the M365 Copilot license. So let me end going back actually to the AI adoption curve. Our customers are moving through this curve at their own pace. It's not one size fits all. And we know that flexibility throughout this journey is critical because the needs of each organization, of each of our customers will shift as they move through the curve, developing new competencies required in the AI era. So together with M365 Copilot and Copilot Chat, we're making it possible for organizations to accelerate their own AI transformation across every step of the adoption curve. Every employee across the organization can start with Copilot Chat today. And it's amazing, again, we announced all of these changes in January, and it's amazing to watch the promise of this become real for many of our customers around the world. We were just working with a customer in the UK last week who started broadly with chat and has now been able to define business process that's really going to be able to go deep and transform different areas of their business. And for those business areas where they have prioritized those use cases, they're now assigning M365 Copilot licenses to those users. So it's a real journey and it can meet you where you are. So we're super excited to introduce it to you today and talk a little bit about how you can get started and answer any questions that you have. So let me pause there. Andy and Nick, I know we wanted to take a minute for questions. Is this an appropriate time for that?
Yeah, I think so. If you've got a question, you can drop it into the chat. Right now, we've got this set up as a Teams webinar, so we've got everyone muted, but fire away into the chat as you go. And then we've also got a couple other Microsoft folks on as well. So Gina, anybody else, don't hesitate to chime in. And actually, can I give you a prompt question, if that's not too much of a pun, Emily?
Absolutely, Nick. Yes.
Yeah, because I briefly mentioned shadow IT. And
yep.
I hate to admit my age, but I remember when we went through this in other platforms, like organizations where people started using Gmail because they loved the idea of a browser-based email client they could get to from anywhere, instead of using Microsoft Outlook on their Windows or their Macintosh. Or they started putting company files in Dropbox or Box or something else because they just needed to share files out to partners or vendors or supply. And they, at the time, the file attachment limit in exchange of 3 megabytes or whatever it was just wasn't enough. So we just find again and again that if we don't give users a tool, they'll find a way around it. I'm reminded of Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. The users find a way. And this gives us, a way to do that. I'm curious, as you're talking to other people at the director level and our customers, are you sensing that they're seeing this as a way to provide that capability with the safeguards around it of being an organizationally managed tool, but still
100%.
kind of meet that early? Yeah, can you talk to that a little bit, or just what you've seen there?
I'm happy to.
Informally. Sorry to put you on the spot. Okay.
No, it's great. I'll expand beyond just saying 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been the main driver. I feel like most of our customers understand the risk, right, of this today, are seeing it across their organization, and up until this January moment have struggled to understand how to address it effectively. Since we came out with this kind of free offering that has the security and privacy that customers trust in Microsoft today, I think it's been a pretty easy decision for most customers to not just enable this, but to communicate broadly about the value of Copilot Chat, have it be a company-sponsored AI tool to decrease the threat and risk around bringing your own AI to work. We've had, the simple kind of tactics of pinning have definitely been effective, but we've actually seen that many customers kind of take a follow-on step of the bring your own AI, shadow AI searches back to Copilot Chat, just to reinforce how critical it is to be secure as we're on this kind of innovation journey more broadly. So great question. It's definitely been, I think top of mind for most customers I talk to, and been probably the biggest pull so far in moving quickly to make this available for every user.
Yeah. Thanks. And I can share, Emily didn't know I was going to ask her that question, so it wasn't a softball we set up for her. Let's see. A couple have come through in the chat. So Sean asked, hey, if the users don't have the full Copilot license, and by the way, if at any point you're not sure what we're talking about, I guarantee other people on this call are feeling the same way, because Copilot has gone through a couple of branding changes in the last year. So it's a Microsoft 365 Copilot. That's the full app that includes BizChat, the integration into the Microsoft apps, and the ability to reason over your work data. And Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is just the chat-only experience. It can work with, and let me be really clear, sorry. It doesn't have the application integration, and it can't see your work data. So I'm not able to ask it a question like, what's my most important meeting tomorrow? Because without that license, that $30 license, the Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat can't see the content of my Exchange Online mailbox. Right? So if you get confused, please ask us to clarify. I feel like I'm still learning it. It doesn't help that like the capability with more stuff in it is actually the shorter product name. I'm used, Microsoft always adds like advanced and premium and things to stuff. So kind of used to that a little bit. Okay, so Sean says, if I don't have this full Copilot license, can I still create an agent? And the answer is yes, you can. To do that, the administrator has to go in and enable that user with what we call the Copilot Studio license. So Copilot Studio is sort of the maker experience for power users and for general users as well, to build out agents inside of the Copilot infrastructure. We have some other tools as well. Let me get even more advanced, but just for right now, we'll just kind of focused on Studio. So I have to assign them a Copilot Studio license. That allows them to then create and share agents. That can be a little unusual because they may not have the ability to reason over work data, to have an agent that points at SharePoint themselves. They can actually build it and then share it with someone else. Where I've seen that show up is where there's a body of sort of soft skills inside of an organization. And I can show you an example if you want to see it, where like we're working with something like how to be a good manager, right? Which can pull information from the web. We don't necessarily have to like shove everything to SharePoint to be able to do that. I could create an agent, give it instructions and parameters. So I've now got a people coach agent that I've built, and then share that out with people that don't have the full Copilot license. They could use it as long as it's not pointing to work data. And I can even create it as someone without the full Copilot license as well too. So Sean, by default, that's turned off for those users. You do have to go into the admin center underneath users under licenses. I think we call it something like the Copilot Studio trial. It's kind of like that Power Platform trial. And you'll see like there's 1,000 seats of it, and just assign one of those to the users. And that then enables them to create agents inside the environment.
Nick,
Thanks, Gina. Gina included a screenshot too, what it looks like. Yeah.
Oh, great. Just to expand on that, in all of our conversations with customers around this part of the journey, I think what we're seeing more and more customers do is start with chat and go wall to wall with chat, as in parallel they're understanding kind of what their agent model will look like, what they're comfortable with internally, how it matches their broader AI strategy. So we've seen many customers approach it that way. So that's a viable option for customers that are farther through kind of thinking through the agent journey, how they want to govern agents across the enterprise. Thinking about them both in parallel is absolutely great.
Yeah. I also think of agents too as a way to take implicit knowledge and make it explicit. So in Copilot chat, I write prompts, right? And I give it instructions, and ideally I'm giving it like goals and context. And I'm telling it, hey, I want you to, look at this source of information, present it back this way, ignore these sources. And an agent allows me to take those instructions and sort of almost like pre-populate the additional or the future prompts that the user is going to use. Present that as kind of a constrained packaged chatbot experience to the user, but it's got my instructions and guidance that I already gave it. So it's a really nice way to be able to take, some of that stuff that's in our head, it's sort of the right way to do things, and just package it up easily so other people can get to it as well too. I'm often reminded of when I first learned how to do search on the internet, right? And I kind of learned all the little tips and tricks, include things in quotes, use a dash for the file type, scroll past the first few results, those are ads. That's analogous to some of the experience that an agent gives us. Other questions? Andy, I'm going to put you on the spot too. Any additional insight you've seen from the customers you've worked with?
Just reiterating the points that both you and Emily have made. I really think this is a journey, and your organizations should approach it as such. So just getting that chat function out to everybody, and then determining your agentic, quote unquote, journey, what it's going to be for your organization, I think is the best way to go. Really making sure that you have people using your approved AI tool that is secured by your trusted provider in Microsoft, I think is a really important step for all of our organizations to take.
All right. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds to find the keyboard and drop a question to the chat, and otherwise we'll move on. Gina, thank you so much for that reference. So Gina is one of our amazing technical specialists that works inside of health and life sciences. And it's a good note here too that she dropped a link out to the Power Platform Center. For a lot of the automation things that we use with agents and Copilot, we actually use Microsoft's existing Power Platform stack to pull that off. And it's kind of nice. So if you've been working with Power Virtual Agents or Power Automate or any of these tools, Power BI, this tool set that we've had for a really long time, it's the same tool set. So part of the benefit of Microsoft is, while we have a very broad infrastructure, as you're employing and mastering one part of it, that's going to apply to the new capabilities that turn on. For example, all the chats that I do inside of Copilot Chat are available to Microsoft Purview for e-discovery. So I can still do things like auditing and compliance with my users using chat, because we still treat it, even the included version Copilot Chat, as an enterprise tool set. Oh, great. So Andy, you're oh my gosh, I've never been excited about someone previewing a report before, but I think you just did it for me. So
we call that a teaser, Nick.
Emily, thanks for joining us, giving that overview and kind of the inside of what you're seeing. I'm going to take you and Andy off the screen a little bit, and we'll go step through some adoption, but if you want to stick around, please do. And as we go, if you think of additional questions, drop them in, and I will proctor up an offer, which is if you kind of need guidance. Oh, sorry, Andy, I took me off and put you on. If you need guidance kind of telling this story to your leadership, let us know, because we are finding we're in such a inflection point right now with AI. People are sometimes confused on what this is. So we've got a business leader that's like, oh, I don't want us to use that because I don't want people to see my inbox through the chat agent. It's like, no, that's not how that works. We can help you tell that story, give you assets and resources, or join a meeting to kind of walk you through it. All right, so I want to move forward then to our next section, and just I'm going to grab control back from Emily. And I wanted to share some of the resources we have around adoption, and some of the things that both we've shared and also a few new ones that have come online. I'm going to cover a couple of slides, then let's jump out. We'll demo a couple of things and just see what these actually look like. So the first is we've put together what we call our Copilot Chat and Agent Starter Kit. And it's essentially, it's a collection of resources. You can download them all as a zip file. But as part of this thinking around, hey, how can I kind of enable this organizational sanctioned AI experience for my users, get them up to speed quickly, encourage them not to use a shadow IT solution, but use this one that we have. I'm going to need, to do sort of change management on it, even if it's really simple. So I need some templates I could use, emails or posts in Viva Engage or Teams to kind of get the users excited. I might need to have an executive sponsor. I might need to do a lunch and learn and deliver some type of a training experience. And so we've packaged a few of these things up and put them on this site. I'm going to hop out here in a second. That link is live if you want to click on it, and we're going to go through it. But we've tried to just make it super concise so you can help people take advantage of the AI for all experience that Copilot Chat offers right away, just right out of the box. And then secondly, I'd like to invite everyone to join us at a webinar series actually starting next week. So we have this webinar series we creatively call the Customer Hub, and it's meant to be a place to come together with peers and step through a series of content together. That's often one of the things we find for implementation of this tool set is it's not something you can cover off completely in an hour. So let me drop my links here into chat. And I'm curating all the links we're talking about. I'll put them in at the very end when we wrap up this session. So starting next week, we've got 4 webinars that we're doing with other customers where we're going to step through what it takes to kind of define the business value, configure, turn on Copilot Chat, and then enable users and ramp them up with training and adoption. So these 4 sessions will also all be available on demand. So we keep everything on our Customer Hub website. And what's different about these versus other webinars or recordings on YouTube is we take live questions from people. Almost everyone tends to be a business decision maker, an IT decision maker, so we have good perspective on what people are doing. And we also have Microsoft experts from across the stack that can kind of step through this. So it's just a really nice way to do like a 2-week sprint to ramp yourself on what it would take to deploy this. If you've got an intern, great thing to send them to, put them in charge of it. It'll be a really good experience. So let me hop out. Let's take a look at a couple of these things. And Andy, if you wouldn't mind just coming off mute, just confirm you can see my screen share. Big red mouse cursor, big yellow mouse cursor.
Yep, we got you, Nick.
All right, thanks, buddy. Yeah, so let's take a look. So I hopped out. One of my favorite sites in the world is this adoption.microsoft.com site. So on that site, we've got adoption resources for every enterprise commercial product that Microsoft makes. So just as a reminder, mslearn.microsoft.com, that's all of our technical documentations. I hope you've got that bookmarked. That's for IT pros to go through and see how to do all the implementation and configuration of our tool set. Support.microsoft.com is where all the end user help articles are sitting. So that's where you find like videos and screenshots of how to do things. And then adoption.microsoft.com is all the enablement resources. Microsoft uses the ProSci ADKAR methodology under the covers. So all of these resources align to that. And if you have an adoption and change management person, or if it's something you've picked up as a side gig, we've got a lot of things here that can just help you get started. So I wanted to kind of call out the resources that we've got in our Copilot Chat Success Kit. So if you hop out to that site, and here, I'm going to drop the link to this specific page, just so it's right at the top of our chat list. Out on that site, there's a couple of nice resources I just wanted to call out. The first is we have these onboarding templates. Those are email and communication templates you can leverage just to get the word out if you do a kickoff kind of experience. You can customize them, highly recommend that, but they're formatted nicely. They've got all the right product names in them. Then we've got a couple of event kits that you can download. The launch day kit is like if you were going to do a real formal kickoff and you're going to do, like a kickoff in the morning and maybe put some digital signage up in the cafeteria or online. You got posters and things like that you can pull down and use. And the Promptathon is a really fun training exercise to just coach people through how to do good prompts.
Just like that search example earlier, I had to go through that with my parents, showing them how to find things on Google or Bing. Sometimes I've got to go through that with users and say, hey, this is how you kind of get the most out of this by structuring your questions this way when you're working with Copilot. And then finally, this trainer kit. This is a favorite of mine. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. It's got a deck that I can use. So if you got to host that lunch and learn, it lets you get started right away. A couple of handouts on what to do and not do. There's also one here on agents as well too. And then also in that kit, we also have some IT resources as well too. So here, like Rachel Ray, I've got that baking. Let's see what it looks like in the oven. So if I jump out here really quick, let me just tease a couple of these to you. They can go explore them on your own. This is that training deck. So I downloaded this kit, unzipped it, and copied up into OneDrive just so I could click through it really quick. But it's kind of nice because it's just really nice for me to go in and changes. Every place that you see a yellow highlight, we want you to swap that out with your company name. But then we have really nice, clean, like screenshots of everything. So you don't have to go out and make those. Links to things like going out to the App Store or Google Play to get the mobile experience. And then there's even embedded videos. So we've got like little 60-second demos. So if you're not comfortable sharing out your screen to users and sharing this yourself, it's kind of a real nice way to kind of just show off the experience. So that's my first asset, is I've got just a nice trading deck that I can use to help people get started. And I wanted to just call out at the bottom of that deck, there's also some nice sample prompts to get started. And so when I've done these, I've brought this screen up and said, okay, let's all take 5 minutes and try it and just go on mute, and then encourage people to type back into chat what they got. It's just a real nice way to make it interactive and kind of take away some of the mystery of it. And then there's also an IT implementation guide. I'm not going to cover this in detail. You should come to our webinar next week because we're going to go through in detail how to configure all the controls. There's really not that many, but I can kind of choose whether or not Copilot appears, for example, in the navigation rail inside of Microsoft Teams and the Microsoft 365 app. And so like all the different configuration settings are just right here. And we just kind of walk through like, okay, this is what you're going to do. That's where it is inside the admin center. So that IT implementation guide is just a really nice one to use. Then I also mentioned we've got a lot of templates. So let's look at two. So here's a nice pre-formatted email template with a table in it and screenshots. You can go through and replace it. Just make sure if you do use this, pay attention to all the yellow things, because in a couple of these, there's like a placeholder where you're supposed to put in like your contact information for IT help desk or whoever is your champion who's rolling that out. So just make sure you don't send it out generic. And I really like this. We've got an executive intro template. So every project is always better if you've got an exec sponsor. Ideally someone who's not IT, but out in the business. So here we've got this. I do this a lot for some of my managers. I'll compose something for them and say, hey, would you please send this out? That way I get their authoritative support. I get control over the content and where it's going to point to. And so we've got just a nice resource there to help you get started with it. So those are all up on that website. There's a couple others I won't go into too much detail on, but one of my other favorites is we have this 30-day journey that actually has 30 days worth of little email templates and tricks. So one of the things that's always a challenge with adoption is you've got to sustain it. And so this is a nice way where I could just say, every morning, 8 a.m., I'm going to send out today's tip on using Copilot. By the end of the month, I'll be done. Sort of 80-20 rule. 80% of the users will be pretty solid at that point. They can help the other 20% who don't read my emails. But it's just a really nice way to kind of sustain that. And then you're not sitting there like searching Microsoft's website trying to come up with something that day. So those are all hanging off of our tools and templates site. Just a really good resource for that. So I wanted to call that out. And then finally here, let's look at that Customer Hub session site that I referenced. So again, these are meant to be consumed in a series. So Microsoft's Customer Hub is a series of webinars that are focused on different technologies. The content's available live and on demand. And often we give you homework at the end of each one. So if I complete this session in April on the art of the prompt, I want to register for that. At the end of that, we'll give you, here's some things to try. And then we're planning in May to have like a prompt deep dive session that you can go back to. And if you can't make it live, we make everything available on demand, so you can go through and see it. So as we're going through all just these value components of Copilot, Copilot Chat, and agents today, please go to adoption.microsoft.com and take advantage of some of these starters we've put together. They've been vetted with a lot of people, a lot of different customers. We had our Viva Amplify team do some regression on them, so they're nicely phrased. It'll just be a really nice asset to help drive that adoption. Okay, let me pause here for a second for questions, comments. And if anyone's found one of these particularly useful, please drop it into the chat. Your peers would love to hear that. You always count to 10 so people can come off mute. All right. Andy, just yourself, anything you'd add to that too? Or I was not saving anything for a big finish. If you're like, oh, I thought he was going to cover. I haven't done that.
No, one of the things I've found very useful in kind of that, the agent in the chat, starter kit is the top 10 things to try within chat.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of the users in our organizations that I'm finding really need a little bit of help kind of get started. You kind of have your high flyers that gravitate toward generative AI very quickly and they take off, but there's a large set of users that really need a little nudge in the right direction. And that kind of top 10 things to try, I think really does a nice job of doing that. I've had some customers have some good success with that.
Yeah. I don't think I unzipped that one. Let me go grab it. That was in back here. So on the link that I put up, it's this one right here, top 10 to try in Copilot Chat. And you may have seen if I scroll down on this page, we also have these for the full version of Copilot. So here's like my top 10 things to try in Copilot. It's got prompts that are going to hit like Exchange, the Office, Microsoft 365 resources. These top 10 things to try are all web-grounded prompts. So they'll work really nice for someone who's just got Copilot Chat. And to be clear, all the Microsoft people on the call, we think the best experience is the full Copilot experience, right? Using AI to reason over your work data and get those insights to improve. But if you're not fully ready for that, or you can't license the whole organization, or you're still working on some things like data governance, this is a great way to start building out that skill set, let people know, hey, the full experience is coming. For now, I want you to use this. And we're going to have our network team go in and block other tools on the firewall just to make sure that they're using the approved one. So thanks, Andy. All right, I'm going to bring back up our PowerPoint deck. And then I'll hand it over to you. And then as we're going to, if you have additional questions, please drop them into the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. And it's probably going to start sharing from the beginning, Andy, once it loads here, if you want to take control in advance.
Sure. Sounds good.
Trying to remember where your section starts. I think it's like around slide 20 or 21.
Yep, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So I wanted to take a few minutes today and talk a little bit about our some of the Copilot analytics updates that we've had. So as Nick mentioned before, things are changing very quickly in Copilot, and so is our ability to measure your organization's usage, adoption, and then effectively to the end to get to what business value are you getting out of Copilot? Because that's really the question that we're being challenged with a lot is what is the business value of Copilot? What am I getting out of it? And so what I wanted to do is take some time today and kind of do an overview of the main tools you have at your disposal right now to measure the impact of Copilot in your organization. Some of the stuff I'm going to show you might be some review for some of you. You might see some things you're very familiar with. Some of the things might be new. And in fact, I will tell you some of the things will be new because I'm going to be talking a little bit about what's coming in terms of reporting on Copilot Chat and agents and things like that. So let's dive in. And there could be some like I said, this is probably where you're going to see something very familiar, but I'll go ahead and get started. Nick, are you seeing that animation or am I kind of stagnant there?
Nope, it's going. I can even tell you've got the, what is that, the motion path with layers? Good PowerPoint skills, dude. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's right. So with that aside, what you're looking at here is our Microsoft 365 Copilot dashboard. And this is the dashboard that many of you probably have already. It's been out for probably about a year. And it's really our destination for, a strategic view of Copilot and agents across your organization. So here on the adoption tab, we start with a quick look at the number of Copilot licensed employees and how many of those are actively using Copilot. And I've already scrolled down, but as we scroll down, you can see which groups are adopting Copilot the most quickly. And then if we come back up and we look at usage intensity, this gives you insights into how frequently different groups are using and leveraging Copilot. So here you can identify the number of Copilot actions being taken or whether employees have consistently used Copilot every week in the past month. And then coming over here to the Impact tab, the Impact tab provides a view into productivity, and I can see the number of Copilot actions taken overall in my company, as well as the number of hours saved with Copilot's assistance. And I can convert those time savings into dollars as well using an adjustable hourly rate filter there. Now, this is still kind of based on some of our Microsoft research as far as how much time a Copilot action saves your organization. So it is kind of an estimate. And then what we've done recently in the Copilot dashboard is giving you the ability to adjust the hourly rate. And so you can kind of adjust that based on the group that you're looking at to try to get, a ballpark figure on, what the value of Copilot is in a certain part of your organization. I usually, kind of advise customers to really try to take a look at that at a high level and not get too fixated on exact dollars and cents, but really look at this as the value of time saved within a certain part of your organization. And then scrolling down, I can also see how Copilot is transforming the way people work and the impact it's having on work and functions like meetings, emails, and chats. And then further down, I can understand the employee sentiment related to Copilot to augment all of this usage data. And Copilot-related surveys are included through Pulse at no additional charge, and we still offer the ability in the Copilot dashboard here to bring your own survey data. So if you're using a different survey tool, you can still look at you can still upload that data for your leaders. So that's kind of the first overview of your first tool for measuring adoption and impact of Copilot in your organization, Copilot dashboard. Now, the nice thing about the Copilot dashboard, if you're thinking about what tool to use when, this is a very easy tool to get started with. It's out of the box. You can configure it very simply, and you can start using it almost right away. So that's a nice place to start if you're just getting started within analytics. But if I need some deeper insights into how my people are using Copilot, there's another tool out there, and that is our Viva Insights tool. So we also have advanced reporting capabilities through Viva Insights to tailor and create custom reports that fit your needs. Build custom reports that use your organizational attributes, business metrics, and Copilot plus agent usage data for a deep view of AI across your organization. So we offer a number of templated reports in Viva Insights, and the one I'm showing you here is the Copilot Business Impact Report. This is a pre-built report that helps you understand ROI and the relationship between Copilot usage and critical business KPIs. This report can be customized for any function using your metrics that are uploaded into Viva Insights. So in this example here, you're looking at Copilot usage within a sales function. So you can see how higher seller usage of Copilot in their day-to-day work leads to better sales outcomes like higher win rates, deals created, and deals won. And I should point out that those KPIs there, the win rate, deals created, and deals won, that would have come from the organization, right? So that would have come from the sales group that said, here's our KPIs, we're uploading that into Viva Insights, and we're going to track that. So any function within your organization could do the same thing with their own KPIs and then track their Copilot usage against it. If you want to track the relationship over time, you can view the time trend. And next, we'll talk a little bit more about how sellers with favorable business outcomes use Copilot to get their work done. So in this view, you can see the top Copilot features that are setting these active sales users apart from others. So in the case on the screen here, Copilot chat prompts using Copilot to draft email responses and summarizing meetings are the top ways that these sellers are even more productive. We are also incorporating agent reports with customizable impact metrics. Coming in the first half of this calendar year in 2025, you'll be able to use the Copilot Studio agent report to understand agent performance and business value. From the summary, I can see an aggregate view of how my agents are being used across my business. I can dig deeper to see how our top agents are tracking and compare them. So the IT support agent in this example here is our most frequently used agent with over 4,800 agent interactions. But what was the business impact there? If I click in for more details, it shows that the agent has helped generate a 20% reduction in support tickets since September. Plus, his agent has resulted in over 4,000 hours saved for my employees and reducing support costs. So I'm going to pause here. I see I've got a hand up. Nick, I can't see what's going on there, but maybe we can have a question here.
Yeah, I think a hand got raised, but unless you've enabled it, Andy, I think everyone is still muted, so we may need people to just drop the link into chat. Yeah, or wait, hold on, let me just double check this. Yeah, are you able to go to the people pane, Andy, and unmute Sean? I think it's because you're the webinar organizer. I don't see it yet.
Get right to you here.
Sorry, 1 second. Teams setting, everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you can't. Okay, so, yeah, all right. I was afraid. Okay, this is it's a configuration thing. We can fix it for next month. Sean, I'm so sorry. We have this set at the meeting options to not be able to unmute. If you'll go ahead and just drop your question in the chat, then I'll keep an eye on it, and then Andy, I'll relay that to you when it comes up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, everyone. Thanks, Sean.
So what I showed you here, this agent report is coming soon. It'll be one of our pre-built agent templates within Viva Insights. I showed you the business impact Viva Insights template as well. But kind of from a high view, if we're looking at the first two ways to measure usage and adoption in your organization, Copilot dashboard's nice out of the box and can be used very quickly. Viva Insights takes a little more work and a little more configuration, but you can get a lot more deep into your metrics, and then compare them against KPIs. And really, once you're in Viva Insights in the analyst workbench, you can really do anything you want with reporting with our metrics. You can just pull the data out of there, put it into your own Power BI dashboard, and visualize the data however you want. A lot of our biggest customers do that. They'll just go into Viva Insights, pull out the data, and then visualize it however they want. We have a lot of resources to help with that. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, definitely reach out to your Microsoft account team. We'll get you connected with the right people to make that happen. So I want to move on now to the third place you would go within your organization to measure the impact of Copilot. And that is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So if we're going to differentiate our first three so far, we might think about audiences as well. So when we think about Copilot dashboard, we're probably thinking about leaders in your organization who are interested in AI, project teams that are interested in adoption and impact. When we get to the Viva Insights would be in that as well, just a more deep reporting. When we get to the Admin Center, we're really talking about a place that's built for IT pros. So here on the screen right now, we've got the Copilot control system inside the Admin Center. And the overview section offers recommended actions to streamline key administrative tasks and adoption efforts, like basic assigning of Copilot licenses. Diving deeper into usage, let's start with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. And this part kind of relates back to what Emily and Nick have been talking about. One of the things we're doing in our reports is we're starting to bring in reports that tell you about how people are using that Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat outside of that Microsoft 365 license. So this node I'm showing you here in the Admin Center is pointed at those types of users. So non-licensed Copilot users that are using Copilot Chat. So as we talked about earlier, this is now available to all of your users and you can view usage in your organizations, within your organization here, including total active users, average active daily users, and you'll be able to see usage by apps like Edge, the Microsoft 365 app, and soon we're going to be adding in things like Teams and Outlook as well. So look for this reporting to continue to get better here in the Admin Center. And then we can click down a node, as you saw the animation there, into the Microsoft 365 Copilot usage report to view readiness insights like technical user eligibility requirements, assigned and available licenses, and relevant usage insights to inform licensing strategy decisions. So here you can see licensing information at an anonymized individual level. You can see suggested candidates for Copilot to help you prioritize license assignment and maximize adoption in your initial rollout. Up here on the usage tab, this gives you a more detailed look by product. Here I'm looking at usage by Microsoft 365 Copilot license. I can get a summary of active users and active agent users. And you can also see Microsoft 365 Copilot at the app level. We are adding in agent reporting here as well. So in the agents section, you can view agents with segmentation by those built by your organization, Microsoft partners, and those built by Microsoft ourselves. I'm gonna hold off on that one for a second. One thing I wanted to call out here in this in the Admin Center reports is you'll notice here that these apps here are de-identified, and so are the users back a ways here. You'll notice that under the user ID section here, you've got anonymized data, so you don't get to see usernames, and I'm having trouble getting to it. But anyway, I wanted to point out that these admin user reports can be re-identified. So right here where you have username and you see this GUID long string of letters and numbers, you don't really know who that person is. There is a setting in the Admin Center where you can re-identify these people. So you could see like the UPN there, so you would know who's using licenses and who's not. That setting is used by a lot of my customers to kind of identify users that may have asked for a Copilot license but then didn't use it, and they may want to reclaim that license and give that to somebody else. This is probably your best place to do that. I've had that asked from a lot of customers. So there is a setting. One caveat on that setting is it does identify all of the users or all of the reports in the Admin Center. But as long as you are, keeping this to only admins and nobody else, that is usually enough for organizations to feel comfortable doing that. Okay, so quick review. We've got Copilot Dashboard, Viva Insights, Admin Center. I want to show another part of the Admin Center that I feel like is a little bit kind of ignored, or maybe a lot of people don't know about it. And it's a part of our Admin Center reporting called the Adoption Score. And Adoption Score has really been around for a long time. Used to be called Productivity Score, but now it's Adoption Score. We are adding an AI section to our Adoption Score. And what the Adoption Score does is basically take a look at all the behaviors in your organization and then kind of give your organization a rating and how you're doing in each of these sections. So what's coming soon, and this is in preview, the AI Adoption Score represents the extent to which your users in your organization are making Microsoft 365 Copilot a daily habit. So if you drill down into the AI Adoption Score here, to see a time series trend to gauge how your score is improving over time with peer benchmarks to compare your organization to those of a similar size. So that's something I get a lot of asks about in my interactions with customers. How are we doing compared to other customers like us? Well, the AI Adoption Score gives you a little bit of an idea of that. Gives you a bit of a trend line that says organizations similar to you are doing about this well, and then here's how you are. View users by usage frequency to understand your distribution, the number of days they're using Copilot, and the feature level usage to inform adoption strategy and communication. So for example, the count of active users over the past 28 days who have used Teams meeting summarization within Teams. Okay, last one. So we've gone through the 4, we've gone through Copilot dashboard.
Hey, Andy, can I interrupt you really quick? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Just since you're in adoption score, I'm gonna drop a link to both of these into the chat right now. So I'll put it in a link to the AI assistance and adoption score. And I just want to call out a cool feature that's coming. We won't show it here on screen, but something called organization messages. This allows you to go into the admin center and compose a message to drive adoption that then appears inside the user interface of different Microsoft apps and services. So you can create like a little message that pops up on the toolbar in the Microsoft Word ribbon, for example. So our intent is to kind of marry these together. So you'll be able to say, hey, for all the users that aren't using Copilot chat to summarize meetings, I want to just have a message pop up. If you're of a certain era, you might remember tools like NetSend, that allowed me to pop a message up on the screen. This does something similar to that, just inside of Microsoft 365. So it's in preview, so we're still doing some refinement of it. But take a look at that. I think it'll be a real nice tool in the toolbox to drive kind of best practices alongside the other resources that we have. So, sorry, I'm passionate about that one, Andy. So I wanted to just kind of call that out. That's there. Thanks.
Oh, thanks for doing that. No, great call out. Thanks, Nick. So finally, in the reporting part of the presentation today, I wanted to talk a little bit about agent reporting, because that's really becoming more and more of a topic for a lot of my customers. So you saw you had some basic agent reporting in the admin center. More is coming into Viva Insights, but there's also the Power Platform admin center where you can find some reporting around agents. And as Nick mentioned earlier, a lot of what we're doing with agents and Copilot nowadays is building on some of our other technologies like the Power Platform. So you're going to be seeing crossover in a lot of these technologies. So for a deeper dive into agents across the organization, the Power Platform Admin Center provides a central view into the custom agents built by Copilot Studio, including agents published to external users. The Power Platform admins need oversight into their agents and how they're performing, how much of the metered or prepaid capacity the agents have consumed, and how successful these agents are. So with these reports, admins can see top agents and their usage over time, build messages and prepaid capacity and usage by agent, and agent success rate. Admins can drill down into the individual agents and see specific usage by agent. So Power Platform is another one of those reporting areas that you should get familiar with within your organization. So before I move on, my slide got a little out of order here, Nick, so I'm going back. I want to bring this up. So just to kind of summarize all of those Copilot analytics tools that you have at your disposal, I wanted to put this slide up at the end of this section. So remember, these are sort of different purposes with different levels of effort and different audiences, but they all are going to play together to give you insight into that adoption and usage of Copilot within your organization, and then with the end goal of trying to figure out what actual value you're getting out of this tool. So in some of my more successful organizations, in terms of measurement, these tools are used to, say, identify high, users, high-end users in certain groups, what teams are using Copilot more effectively, so that those teams can then be sought out, kind of interviewed and said, hey, how are you using this? How is this improving your work? Finding things that organizations, those that they can take from those teams and maybe replicate across the organization, and find really good departmental use cases or org value use cases to where those organizations are able to move beyond just using Copilot as, say, your personal productivity tool, like that's going to save me some time summarizing a meeting or summarizing an email thread, to, hey, we're going to use this tool as a department to streamline this particular workflow, or to do our job better, or to work more efficiently, and really reach those, those meaningful KPIs that will add business value to your organization. Okay. So I'm going to transition real quickly here. I want to spend just a few minutes talking about a couple of new features coming out on our roadmap. So we've kind of had roadmap on our agenda for the past couple of months, and we haven't really gotten to much roadmap. So I want to take a little time today and just point out a couple of things that are coming that might be interesting. And before I get to those actual features, I did want to put this slide up, and this is something that I think Nick has shared with this group before. But keeping up with the pace of change in Copilot and Microsoft 365 in general is always a challenge for all of our organizations. So we put together this summary slide here to kind of remind you of all of the places that you can go to try to keep up with changes within Copilot and then Microsoft 365 in general. So on this list, as it says on the slide, it goes from sort of least authoritative to more authoritative at the bottom. Thanks, Nick. You just dropped that in there. So you've got the roadmap, the public roadmap site linked there, Microsoft 365 blog, what's new in Copilot, and then the Copilot release notes. And then the most authoritative spot to look for updates from us is within your tenant in the Microsoft 365 admins or message center. I would recommend that if your organization doesn't have a good muscle built around the message center, that's something you maybe work with your account team on helping you to develop, because that's really the place that's going to be most informative for you for changes coming through Copilot. Nick, I see you came on the screen. You want to jump in there?
Oh, yeah, just to kind of call out, I'm never quite sure where to put our blog because it's a mix of just kind of stories and customer references or really broad announcements that may have a very far future. So like, for example, Ignite in November, we announced some things that are now coming out this summer. And we're committed, like we're absolutely going to do it. So we typically, like one of our executives makes that announcement. However, the roadmap, I think that has IDs that are signed to inside of Microsoft DevOps to specific features, but sometimes we'll pull things off and put them back on. So I would say those two are just a tiny bit interchangeable, both kind of fall into the category of things that are coming. Right? Everything else, what's new, that's something that's released. That tends to be, that's a PowerPoint deck that actually downloads the screenshots of what's new. The release notes is much more authoritative. That's specific features. And then finally, the last one is like, yeah, it's live in your tenant. And often here's the link where the admin control is in it. So definitely keep an eye on the very bottom one. The top two are kind of nice to have, especially if you have like a broad team where you're able to specialize in certain areas. And then the what's new or the release notes, that's a good thing to bookmark and scan once a month, just so you're not caught off guard when something shows up in your tenant.
Perfect. Thank you. So jumping into just two features that are coming soon that I thought I would call out to you. First of all, we've been talking about this one for a bit, but it's coming out very soon, and that is email prioritization, or prioritize my inbox, which this is going to be a feature that will sift through your inbox, analyze each message you receive, identify the important ones, and then it's going to take it a step further. Eventually, it's going to automatically group similar messages from different threads or people and categorize them so you can easily find them and summarize them across your threads. So ideally, you can spend less time managing your inbox and more time doing whatever's important for your job. So this is a feature we've had at Microsoft now for a few months. I personally have found it very helpful. It brings in little icons next to the most important messages that draw my attention to it. And what I've really liked most about it is that it learns. So I am able to teach that AI, the prioritize my inbox AI, what is important to me. So if it identifies something that is important that I don't think is important, I can teach it to deprioritize, and it will learn that. And the opposite is true. If it misses one, I can teach it, hey, this is an important one, and here's the reason. And it will bring that back up next time I get a message similar to that. So prioritize my inbox. It's coming out very soon, within the next month or so. At April 2025 is on the roadmap. And then kind of sticking with our theme of Copilot Chat, we're seeing a new change that's going to be coming out in June to our Copilot Academy within Viva Learning. So if you're not familiar with Copilot Academy within Viva Learning, it is basically a learning destination for all of your Copilot needs within Viva Learning. It's a evergreen technology, meaning that Microsoft will maintain all of this, all of these resources. So it's something your organization doesn't have to maintain, and it's a great place to push your users for some self-service, self-guided learning. Now, the change that's coming to Viva Learning, or excuse me, Copilot Academy, is that it's going to be available to all users without a Copilot license. So the Copilot Academy has kind of gone through a bit of a process in terms of licensing. Used to have a certain amount of licensing. Today, you have to have a Copilot license at least to see the Viva Learning Copilot Academy. But coming in June, you're not even going to need to have that. You're just going to have to be a licensed Microsoft 365 user. And the reason we're doing that is basically to help you support those Copilot chat users that may not have that Copilot license. So this is going to now become a destination for all of your users, regardless of the version of Copilot that they have. And really quickly, before I jump back, or before I pass it back to you, Nick, I was just going to show you a quick tour of the Copilot Academy and Viva Learning if you've not seen it before. So I've shared out my screen here, and you see I've got a Teams client here in the web version dark mode. So I'm looking very dark today. And over here on my left-hand rail, I've got Viva Learning. So I'm going to go ahead and click into Viva Learning, and it's going to, well, if it landed on my home, it would just bring up my home for Viva Learning. Now, in this particular tenant, I don't have a Viva Learning license. All I have is a Copilot license. So today, as that license, that license profile, I have a Microsoft Copilot Academy tab at the top here. So it's automatically added there. There is some some administrative controls if you want to control it a little bit, but it's going to just show up here, and then it's going to have the content, as I said, that comes from us, that comes from Microsoft. It doesn't have to be maintained by you. It's going to be maintained by us. As features change, as you know, UIs change, this will update for your users. You don't have to maintain that. So then I can, as a user, just kind of do some self-paced learning here. If I want to start looking at prompts, which, you know, I find that that's something that a lot of my customers need some help with right off the top, is how to prompt AI properly. And this would apply to your, whether it's a Microsoft 365 Copilot license or just a Copilot chat user. Everybody has to have some idea of how to prompt. So you could go through here and take some really quick, you know, snippets of training as you're able, as you have time, and go through that and really get up to speed on your prompting skills, and then go even more deeply into whatever content that you want to regarding Copilot. So if you've not checked out Viva Learning's Copilot Academy yet, very soon it's going to be just available for all of your users to jump in and start using. So again, if you need some help with that, reach out to your Microsoft account team. We'd be happy to help get you started there on Copilot Academy, which is going to become available for everybody very soon. And with that, Nick, I think I'm ready to hand it back to you to wrap us up.
All right, thanks. Well done. Let's see here. All right, let me grab my, I'm going to toss the deck up, and I'll get ready to bring up our closing deck. And then also, we've got a survey if you have a few minutes. We would love for you to hit that for us. Just give us some feedback, including what you'd like to see in our April session. And then while that is loading, I'm gonna drop a great big long post into our meeting chat. And I'm going to format it a little bit so we can read it. So I've put together just a list of the resources that we shared. You know, like the Annie just walked through, like how to keep up with changes. I shared the templates and things like that earlier. And then we also reference some upcoming sessions that we're going to have with like the, sorry, let me jump ahead, with the, there we go. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm the one now who needs the high school intern. Here, I'm dropping all these links in. There you go. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I'm like trying to like format PowerPoint and type into the meeting chat. Oh, I didn't get my very last one there, but I'll talk to that. Okay, so a couple next steps. First is when Emily talked kind of broadly about strategy, a good source for that, I mentioned like, hey, it's kind of like IT professionals, part of our challenge is sort of curating and translating what the business impact of some of these tools mean to organizational leaders. I really like the Microsoft Work Lab site. We publish a lot of the research that we create jointly we have a partnership with organizations in Cambridge out of Microsoft Research and a couple of research centers around the world. So Work Lab has a lot of just really good thought leadership on kind of what we're seeing in trends that are happening. Second link is all those templates that I mentioned earlier, the adoption templates, or just go to adoption.microsoft.com. Third is our upcoming Customer Hub series on Copilot Chat and Enablement. So please come to those 4 or watch them, and we're going to go step by step through how to turn that thing on, how to ensure enterprise data protection is in place, how to control who has access to it, and then additional things like user enablement or enabling people to create agents. The fourth one, I just remembered that, Andy, when you were talking, is next month we've got a deep dive into what you just covered with analytics. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more, hit that one. That'll take you into it. And then I'm going to bring up this next slide, and while we're looking at it, I'll also grab the the keeping up with changes references. I got one more I'll add to that as well too. So if you stay on for another second, just copy this out of the meeting chat. That way you've got kind of the follow-up from today. If you would, please give us your feedback. You can scan this with your phone and hit it. I'll drop the link in here to the survey as well too. But we're doing this every month, just focused on the organizations that Andy, Mark, who's our peer at Make a Day, and myself work with. If you need help with anything from a follow-up perspective, if you'd like us to deliver some of this, a little bit more bespoke to your organization, we'd love to do it. Let me drop in that link. So hit that survey link. That'll give us some good feedback for the next one. That's going to take us to the conclusion of the session. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then Andy and I are able to stick on for a little bit longer. If you have additional questions, drop them in the chat. We'd love to hear them. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the spring. Have a great day of prompting and using AI at work. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, stop the recording.